Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, you're probably someone who wants to build real financial security. No fluff, just straight talk on how global shifts could hit your wallet. Today, we're diving into something that's flying under the radar in the US, but it should be a wake-up call for all of us. Germany's brewing crisis with its pensions and welfare system. As the powerhouse of Europe, Germany's economy has long been the envy of the world. But right now, in September 2025, it's teetering on the edge. Chancellor Friedrich Merz just dropped a bombshell, saying the welfare state as we know it can no longer be financed with what we produce in the economy. That's not hyperbole, it's a direct quote from his speech in Osnabrück last month. And folks, this isn't just Europe's problem. With our own social security trust fund projected to run dry by 2035, Germany's story is a preview of what could happen here if we don't get proactive about our finances. Let's start with the big picture. Germany, the world's fourth largest economy, is in the middle of its third straight year of recession. Official data from the Federal Statistical Office shows GDP shrank by 0.3% in the second quarter of 2025 alone. That's on top of a 0.2% drop in 2024 and 0.3% in 2023, the first back-to-back contraction since the early 2000s. Why? A perfect storm. First, the energy crunch after Russia's invasion of Ukraine jacked up prices. Germany's heavy reliance on cheap Russian gas left factories idling. Then, the auto industry, which employs over 800,000 people, got hammered by the shift to EVs and competition from China. Volkswagen and BMW are slashing jobs. A recent A study pegs 51,500 losses in the sector last year alone, thanks to AI automation and slumping exports. Add in US tariffs under the Trump administration, up to 25% on EU goods, and you've got a recipe for stagnation. The IMF calls it a structural crisis, not a blip. Productivity is down, public investment is at rock bottom among advanced economies, and the labor force is shrinking fast as baby boomers retire. Now, zoom in on the welfare state, the crown jewel of post-war Germany. This isn't some abstract policy wonkery, it's the system that guarantees healthcare, unemployment benefits, and yes, pensions for 83 million people. Social spending eats up 31% of GDP, or about 1.3 trillion euros a year. That's 1 in 3 euros generated going to support the vulnerable. Pensions alone? Around 12% of GDP, or 800 billion euros annually. But here's the kicker, Germany's population is aging faster than almost anywhere. Birth rates are at 1.3 kids per woman, way below the 2.1 replacement level. By 2036, there'll be 19.5 million retirees chasing contributions from just 12.5 million workers. Right now, the worker-to-retiree ratio is 2 to 1. Back in the 1960s, it was 6 to 1. The Labor Ministry's budget? 2/3, 121 billion euros, goes straight to pensions in 2025. Women are hit hardest, many juggle low-wage jobs and childcare gaps, ending up with pensions half the average or nothing at all. To make this crystal clear, picture this simple breakdown. Data from the German Council of Economic Experts and Eurostat. Yeah, it's grim. The debt brake in Germany's constitution caps borrowing, so no easy bailouts. Unemployment's ticking up to 6.2%, and Bürgergeld, the basic income support, cost 47 billion euros last year, ballooning with more claimants, including a growing share of non-citizens amid migration debates. Enter Chancellor Friedrich Merz, the CDU leader who took office in May after ousting Olaf Scholz's coalition. A former corporate lawyer turned politician, Merz isn't mincing words. In that August 23 speech at a CDU conference in Osnabrück, he laid it out. The welfare state that we have today can no longer be financed with what we produce in the economy. He called for an autumn of reforms to overhaul social insurance, covering health, pensions, and unemployment, without hiking taxes on mid-sized businesses, the backbone of Germany's economy. In the Bundestag last week, he doubled down, promising no social cuts label would stop him, even as coalition partners balk. Merz's pitch? It's a nod to his base and even of sympathizers frustrated with stagnation. But it's sparking firestorms. Reactions? Unions are livid, calling it a war on workers. The left party's Heidi Reicheneck warned of an autumn of social cruelty, with think tanks and bosses ganging up on labor rights. Even the SPD, Merz's shaky coalition allies, is pushing back. Vice Chancellor Lars Klingbeil insists on imaginative fixes, not just slashes, and hasn't ruled out taxing higher earners. Protests erupted in Berlin last weekend over job losses, with chants of Merz must go. Polls? Brutal. An Ansha survey shows 62% of Germans dissatisfied with the government, up 18 points since June, Merz's approval at a measly 26%. On X, it's a battlefield. One viral thread from economist Maurice Hoofgen blasts Merz for ignoring how cuts would deepen the 5-year consumption slump, racking up 1,900 likes. Another user quipped, Merz admits migration policies wrecked the welfare state, thanks, Merkel. A post from La Derecha Diario even ties it to a Malay effect, crediting Argentina's reforms for inspiring Merz's tough talk. And Simon Betstinger, a market commentator, nailed it. Left-green policies drown businesses in red tape, killing the welfare state's funding source. At the heart of this? The pension crunch. Germany's system is pay-as-you-go. Today's workers foot boomers' bills. But with contributions flatlining, rates stuck around 18.6% of wages, and payouts rising 3.74% this year alone, deficits are exploding. Merz's coalition agreement locks the replacement rate at 48% through 2031, subsidized by taxes, but that's a band-aid. They're rolling out active retirement. Let folks work up to €2,000 a month tax-free post-67, no penalties. And get this, a €10 monthly government subsidy for kids starting at age 6, funneled into private equity funds until 18. It's tax-free growth, meant to kickstart a third pillar of personal savings. Cost? €1.5 billion a year, symbolic but smart. New self-employed folks face mandatory contributions from April 2025, closing loopholes. Economy Minister Katharina Reich is floating raising the retirement age to 70, echoing a 20-year-old think tank call, arguing Germans can't keep working just 2/3 of their adult lives. SPD says no way, it'll slash benefits for the sick or caregivers. Broader welfare tweaks? Tougher job search rules for Bürgergeld, with sanctions up to 30% cuts, Constitution caps it there, and less red tape to boost employment. Healthcare and family subsidies? On the chopping block to free up cash. This all ties back to the welfare state's DNA. Otto von Bismarck birthed it in the 1880s to fend off socialism, universal coverage to keep workers loyal. It worked, low poverty, high trust. But globalization, deindustrialization, and demographics are breaking it. A warns AI will wipe 51,500 auto jobs yearly, without reskilling, unemployment spikes, draining more funds. Migration? Mixed bag, helps plug labor gaps but adds claimants, fueling IF's rise, now polling even with CDU. So, what does this mean for you, watching from America? Plenty. Our Social Security faces a similar cliff, 2.8 workers per beneficiary now, heading to 2 to 1 by 2035. Germany's 31% GDP on social spending dwarfs our 19%, but the math's the same, inflation at 2 to 3%, stagnant wages, aging boomers. If Merz succeeds, it proves even Goldstandard systems need privatization and incentives. If he fails? Riots, populism, economic drag on the EU, and us, via trade. Bottom line, Merz is right on one thing, change is here. Germany's crisis screams, relying on government pensions is a loser's bet. Whether you're in New York or Nebraska, start investing today. Comment below, do you trust Social Security for your retirement? Hit like if this hit home, subscribe for more no BS breakdowns on global finance shaking your portfolio. See you there, stay wealthy.